Hey guys, this is Mansoor. Welcome to our YouTube channel, The Coders Bridge. As we all know, this is our fifth tutorial of our deep learning playlist, and this will be the second part of our activation functions. As we saw in our previous video about sigmoid activation function, this is a continuation of that video with a different activation function, which is ReLU, and we will be seeing how to overcome the disadvantages of ReLU by using leaky ReLU. Okay, so if you haven't watched our previous videos, please do watch that video and come back to this. I will be giving the video link in the I button as well as in the description section. And if you haven't subscribed the channel, please subscribe the channel and hit on the bell icon for get the continuous updates on deep learning videos. Okay, now let's jump into our topic. Like, what is ReLU? ReLU is nothing but the abbreviation of ReLU is rectified linear unit. It's nothing but like normally we saw like sigmoid activation function is used for classification problems, correct? In the same way, while ReLU is used for regression problems, and mostly when we have multiple hidden layers, right, we used to go with the ReLU activation function because we doesn't have a disadvantage in ReLU, which is a vanishing gradient problem, which we have in sigmoid and tanh activation functions. Okay, we'll see what exactly activation function, ReLU activation function is. So ReLU is nothing but if our x value is greater than 0, then it will be 1. If it is less than 0, it will be 0. Simple. Here we can see, right, maximum of our z value. R of z is nothing but the ReLU activation function maximum of 0 comma z. Z is nothing but if our z value is 0, it will be giving you 0. Here we can see, right, it will be giving us 0. If our z value is greater than 0, then it will be giving us a linear equation line. Simple, right? We'll go to our whiteboard and we'll see like how we can derive a formula by using a math intuition. Okay, now let's roll back to our whiteboard. Okay, as we all know, we saw the same linear, what is that, neural network. So let me just zoom in. So this is the linear like neural network which we saw in our previous session as well. We have three inputs, x1, x2, x3, and some weights have been assigned to their uh, inputs. With we have two hidden layers as well over here. So one hidden layer and we have one output layer, correct? So initially when we train our model, it will be going in a feed forward direction, and to update the weights to minimize the loss, so we will be having a loss function and cost function depending upon our output. So depending upon our loss, we will need to update our weights. For updating the weights, this would be happening in back propagation. So I haven't make a video on back propagation. Please wait, and I will be soon making the video on what is back propagation, what are the like chain rule, like what is chain rule, and how to do backpropagation in multiple neural network as well. Okay, so until that, just consider when we are coming in a backpropagation method, because we need to change the weights of our neurons to minimize the loss. Okay, as we all know, right, normally the output will be the summation of inputs with the weights, correct? So this is what mentioned over here. Y is equal to summation of I to 1 tends to n, where what is that, xi into wi. Xi is nothing but the input, wi is nothing but the weight. So this is the same thing which we saw in our previous session. Okay, now let's come to our the other neural network. This is nothing but mm, a neural network without hidden layers. We are just accumulating a summation of inputs and weights and giving to our ReLU activation function. We'll see what is ReLU activation function. ReLU activation function, as I told before itself, it is nothing but a ReLU activation function will be giving the maximum of the value which you give. It's nothing but if our value is 0, it will be giving you 0. If your value is greater than 1, it will be giving you 1. Okay, now I told you, right, we will be updating the weights of each neuron here in the back propagation method. Now we'll see the formula, like how to update the weights of each neuron. Okay, so here we can see a formula, right? W new is equal to W old minus learning, which k is nothing but a learning rate. Again, it is an hyperparameter multiplied by derivative of loss with respect to weight. Simple. So let me just explain you with this equation itself. So we have the output here, right? So we will be calculating the loss function over here. So we will be calculating the loss function. So for this loss function, we need, from here we will be back propagating till the first input layer. So which is nothing but from O2 it will be going to O11, from O11 it will be going to X1, and again it will be coming forward. Nothing from the loss function, from the output layer, it will be going till the input layer and updating all the ways. Just consider we have O21 as the output layer, right? From O21 it will be going to O12 with respect to W8, and this weight will be updated. At the same time, O21 is also connected with W7 with respect to O11, so this weight will be also updated. So in that manner, by using this formula, we will be updating the weight. This weight is nothing, this formula is nothing but new weight. How we can calculate by using this formula is old weight minus learning rate with the derivative of loss with respect to derivative of old weight. This k is a learning rate. Again, I am telling this is a hyperparameter. In hyperparameter theory, we can do a trial and error method to minimize or maximize the loss by calculating this learning rate. Okay, and we'll come back to our old sigmoid function. Like in sigmoid function we saw, right, they at some point the slope is meeting a zeroth value, which is creating a vanishing gradient descent problem. To overcome this, we came up with a new activation function, which is ReLU. Okay, in ReLU activation function, what we will be doing, so as I told you before, if our value is 0, it will be lying in the 0th position itself. Okay, just consider our value is 0. Okay, now we'll just minimize this. Now we'll start writing it over here. Okay, as we can hear, right, this w new is equal to just consider our old weight, it was around something 2.4. Okay, and our learning rate, will keep our learning rate as 1 as of now. Like learning rate should be 1, like less value only. And the derivative of what is this loss with respect to this thing, this is our parameter, this is our z, nothing but the value which we'll be calculating. Correct. When I told you, right, a function which is 0, let me show you that. So here we saw, right, maximum value is 0, sorry, minimum value is 0, maximum value is x. So we'll consider this calculation itself is equal to 2.41 minus 1 multiply by, now we'll take the um, z value as 0. We'll make two equations. Here z value is 0, which is, that is, z is equal to 0. If we take z is equal to 1, what it will be? 2.4 minus 1 of 1. Okay, if we just calculate this two thing, what it will be, now this entire value will become 0, because 1 into 0 is obviously 0. Now the rate is 2.4, like new weight is calculated as 2.4. If we calculate this, what it will be, 2.4 in minus 1 is nothing but 1.4. Correct. 1.4. If you just see these two things, our old new value, so here we can see, right, old new value was 2.4. So when our z value is 0, at that time new value which we calculated is equal to old value, because the derivative of 0 is obviously 0. Correct. So we can't find the derivative of 0. Correct. And here the derivative of 1 is 1. Correct. That's why we have a different value for z is equal to 1. Okay, now let's see this in a graph. We'll go to our graph. Here is our graph, right? Okay, now when our z value is 0, our graph will be in the 0th position. When our z value is greater than 0, then it will be going in this position, correct? So I can say this graph is in 45-degree. You know how? So our z value is 1, nothing but our derivative value is 1. What is the value of tan h? We'll go and see here. Tan 45-degree is nothing but, how to put degree? Okay, so tan 45-degree is nothing but 1, right? So at the same time, we have a z value as 1, then obviously this graph should be in a 45-degree, correct? So again, here, right, we will be not facing the problem of global minima. If our value is 0, obviously it will be new weight will be 0. Okay, if our value is 1, it will be ranging from 0 to 1 in a 45-degree manner, correct? And we have one more drawback over here, which is similar to sigmoid active. In sigmoid activation function, some point our weights will be calculated, weights will be going to 0, which is not meeting to a global minima, correct? Same thing, when our z value is 0, our new weight is equal to old weight. Okay, if the new weight is equal to old weight, what happening, like we are not propagating anywhere, so our value is in the same position. So for example, let me show you how it looks. Okay, we'll take a graph from Google itself. We'll put global minima graph. So there is no correct graph. I will draw the graph here itself. Okay, this is our global minima graph. Okay, just consider our x value is here. Okay, and one more value is here. So we need to, this is the global minima point, correct? We need to meet this global minimum point. Okay, if our this is our old value, which is 2.4. Okay, we need to come here to meet our global minima, correct? If our new value is equal to old value, if our new value is equal to old value, then there is no movement in the point, right? It will be not reaching this global minima point itself. Just consider, if z is equal to 1, z is equal to 1, which is giving the value of 1.4. 1.4 in the sense, it will be somewhere coming around here, so it is traversing downwards to meet this global minimum. Okay, so we are not facing vanishing gradient descent problem here, but instead of that, our old weight is equal to new weight. We will be also calling it as we will be also calling this thing as dying neuron, or dead neuron, anything it may be. So that problem is also called as dying neuron or dead neuron, which is nothing but the weights which we calculated, the weight like with respect to old weight are same with the old weight itself. That means the new weight and the old weight both are same. Then there will be no movement of the neuron to meet this global minimum point. Okay, to overcome this dying neuron situation, we came up with a advanced technique of ReLU, which is leaky ReLU. Leaky ReLU is nothing but, when we are calculating a value, we will be, again it is an hyperparameter technique, we will be passing a what is that, how can we say, we will be passing a parameter with that x value or z value. So let me write the formula here. So leaky ReLU is nothing but, here, if z is greater than 0, we will be giving the z value itself. If z is less than 0, then we will be adding a parameter to it, which is nothing but a. just consider parameter a. Okay, so what it will be doing is, so let me just show it over here. Now we'll try to calculate our function. So what is w w new is equal to w old. What is w old? 2.4 we calculated, right? And when z is equal to 1, sorry, z is equal to 0, minus learning rate. Learning rate we will keep it as 1, where we know, right, z is equal to 0. That means instead of 0 we will be giving one new parameter x, a. We can give any value to this parameter a. So as of now we'll consider will value which is 0.01. So this in this leaky array, this parameter value should be very very minimal. Okay, so when we calculate this 2.4 minus, just multiply this value somewhere around 0.21, right? Sorry, 0.01. So in this scenario you will be getting something around 2.3999 something. So at least now our old weight is not equal to new weight, correct? So here if you see, when the z value is 0 in ReLU activation function, 2.4 is equal to 2.4, which is old weight is equal to new weight. But in leaky ReLU, with the help of this parameter, we came out of that situation of dead neuron by using this parameter a. Now at least some point we have some point difference in our old weight and new weight. Again here we can see, right? So in ReLU our parameter was here itself, but as per leaky ReLU it will somewhere come around here between like 2.4, a little bit down from 2.4. Like now we, because of this leaky ReLU, we came out of the disadvantage of dead neuron or dead activation function or dying ReLU. But in leaky ReLU another problem is there, like it is very computationally high, because it will be coming a bit very very slow. Here you can see, right, 2.4 was the initial weight value. So we calculated a new weight when in leaky ReLU as 2.39. So it is very computationally like how to say, it will take time to reach global minima. Okay, to overcome this we have many functions, right? Soft plus pre-ReLU, we'll see that in a future classes. Okay, now we'll see this practical implementation, how it will work in how can we write activation function in Python. Okay, we'll go to our Jupyter, or we'll go to Google Colab. So as we saw a function for sigmoid, right? So same way we will be creating a function for ReLU as well. We'll go here and we'll create a new notebook. Okay, now it is created, right? So we will be creating a function for ReLU. So here we can create a function now, which is def ReLU function. It will be taking some x value. And what is the function exactly it will be doing? It will be giving you the maximum value, right? So for what it will be returning, it will be returning maximum of, sorry, return maximum of 0 comma the parameter which is x. Okay, so now we created a function for ReLU activation function. Okay, we'll create one more code block and we'll try to call that function ReLU function. And as I told before, if value is 0, so now we are passing 0, it will be giving you 0. If the value is minus, it will be giving you 0. That means the value should be greater than 0. If you put 1, it will be giving 1, because so whatever value it may be greater than 0. If I put 30 also, right, it will be giving us 30 only, because it will be giving the exact value, because we have only two parameters, 0 and 30, correct? What is the maximum value in 0 and 30? 30. So that's why it's returning 30. So now you are clear with a ReLU activation function, right? We'll go with, what is that? leaky ReLU. We'll create one more function for leaky ReLU. Leaky ReLU function. Same, we'll take one parameter x. So now it will be returning maximum of 0. With 0, we will be adding one parameter, right? 0.1 into x, comma x. Understand, right? As I told, we will be adding one parameter, which is 0.1 with that. 0.1 is nothing but a parameter value. Okay. For better understanding, we'll do like this. A is equal to 0.1. So we'll pass the value A over here. We'll execute this. Nothing but this is a hyperparameter value. You can tune this in your hyperparameter tuning method. Okay. So now we'll call this function and we'll see how it is working. Leaky ReLU function will give 0. It will return 0.0. If we give -1, here you can see, right? When we are passing -1, it is giving us minus 0.1. But here, when we pass minus value, it was giving us 0. Correct? So let's go to our whiteboard again. So here you can see, right, in this graph, when our value is 0, in this graph, when our value is 0 or less than 0, it will be traversing in this direction itself, in complete this negative axis. But as per our leaky ReLU, if our value is 0, it will be 0. If our value is less than 0, it will be little bit traversing down. Here you can see, right, this like pink color line and this rose, like what is it, yellow color line. So it is little bit traversing downwards because of this parameter. Okay, hope you guys are clear with this ReLU and leaky ReLU activation function. If you have any doubts, just put down in a comment section. I will be replying to that. And please try to like implement this technique in your, like, how to say, like practical implementation as well. And if you haven't subscribed to our channel, kindly like do subscribe to our channel, and please wait for our next video, which is softmax activation function. Until that, thank you, bye bye.